The lights are out and we are away here at Nürburgring. Only 8 cars, it seems, have continued. It looks like we may have had a couple of disconnects on the line there up towards turn number 1. But can he do it as the corner switches back across? He does. Lane and Malone side by side. Malone pushes it out wide. We'll try and keep the inside on Ian Lane. He does so. Rocks just up ahead, keeping Malone from getting fully on the throttle of the lap. This is still side by side. Who's going to brake later? It looks like they brake in time. Ian Lane's on the outside, but it is going to switch across to the inside. But he gets the curbing, and Malone can get his throttle down. They are still side by side here. As we get onto the brakes, it looks like Malone's got it ahead. Malone carries the speed on the exit. He looks up the inside into the final turn. Matt Malone up the inside of Ian Lane, but that outside line just carrying the speed through the turn. 3 past Cod up towards the chicane now. Onto the brakes. Cook on the outside. Cod on the inside. Cod gets it. Cook's going to have to back out for now, but he's definitely feeling the speed down. Ian Lane, and it's gravel in the air from Lane. Malone moves to the inside. He's going to have the inside line up to the kink. Who is going to come out on top? Onto the braking. It looks like Malone's got it, but Lane's sticking to the left. He's going to try and stick it up the inside. It's side by side into the chicane. Matt Malone and Ian Lane to the final turn. Lane can keep the speed on the outside, but he's a lot wider than he has been before. As we come up to the line, there's contact between the two. Matt Malone comes out on top ahead of Ian Lane. And they're down, and we are away as Poplar gets a really slow launch, moves straight to the left-hand side of the circuit and falls down the order. Before the race has even got going, Poplar falls to the rear for the feature race 1 after this one concludes. But right now, Bob Poplar looking to make another move back up the order, this time past Joshua Lloyd into the chicane. Poplar sticks it to the inside. A nice move complete, and the 727 moves up to 4th overall. In class in the race, after starting on pole, will not be something he wants as Matt Neal dives to the inside of Joshua Lloyd. Contact between the two of them. That never happened. What was that? Right, this is Matt Neal. He's now behind Joshua Lloyd. A bit of a late on the brakes, a bit of a slide and a lock-up. Philip van der Herk come through the final corner of the circuit, and he will win heat race number 2 here at the Nürburgring. We are green and we are away. Drivers swing to the right-hand side of the circuit to try and defend their line up towards turn number 1. Vukovic has the inside on Van der Herk. Van der Herk's not going to be able to keep it. In fact, he runs deep and he has lost a significant amount of time. It's side by side from those behind though as well. As we head up towards turn number 3, it is a black flag for Bob Poplar. He will have to visit pit lane as they have got, it looks like, about 3-4 deep side by side. Settle themselves down on the exit though, not behind. Here comes Matt Neal as a slow driver. Slow down for Neil Rocks through the final turn. Somehow that was about to turn 3 wide. Who is going to come out of this one ahead? The two teammates fighting along. Sorry, no, that is Batchelor behind, as Matt Neal's teammate is the 85 of Lloyd. As I got those a little bit muddled up, but it is the two D2 drivers fighting it out for second in class right now. As they come through the cut through, Matt Neal sits ahead of Joshua Lloyd and he takes second in class. Matt Malone ahead is 6th in class. Behind this fight is going to look at pushing Matt Neal at the position. Neal and Lloyd go side by side. Somehow they all make it out of there. And here comes Ian Lane to the inside of the final turn. They are side by side. And they settle themselves down somehow. He can't quite get it on the brakes. Oh, he's not going to get into him, which is very lucky. And he keeps it out of the way, but he is once again under attack here. Joshua Lloyd getting the speed on the exit, side by side behind with Lane and Batchelor. That's also for class position. They appear past the funky cameras, and it is once again Matt Neal ahead of Joshua Lloyd, and it is Batchelor ahead of Lane. Onto the brakes. It is going to be Neal on the outside. Lloyd going for the switchback through the left hand and not having to get the curbing. As that's turned. Ian Lane turned by Thomas Batchelor. They've both straightened themselves up. But it is going to be Lloyd up the inside of Matt Neal. This is a fight for second in the D2 class. They're still side by side. As it's going to switch back over again, giving Matt Neal the inside line once more. That's a later move from Lloyd, trying to keep the position he certainly has, but there's more contact, and Lloyd is around. Contact with Richard Edgar into the chicane. Who's going to have it? There's contact. Cook turns across in front of Malone, and through goes Cod. Nagel goes through. Malone gets past Cook. Neal rocks. They're fighting it out for 8th position in class. They got Thomas Batchelor just behind as well on this final lap of the race. Who is going to come out on top? This is the battle for 6th in class. It's side by side. Ian Lane up the inside of Neal Rocks. That's Batchelor just behind. Batchelor now trying to get to the inside of Rocks. Rocks pushes it wide. It's going to go 3 wide on the final lap of the race here. Through the kink. Ian Lane backs out, and somehow it is now a fight between Rocks and Batchelor up towards the chicane. Who's going to go for it? Lane goes for it up the inside of Batchelor. That confirms Rocks the position, but who is going to take 7th in class? Batchelor up the inside of Lane. We know the outside can work well, but it's not going to work well enough. Batchelor takes that position ahead of Lane. It's a green flag, and we are away off the line. Matt Neal, the only driver out front on the front row of the grid, with us missing a few of the drivers from the grid here in feature race 2. We are going to get down towards turn 1. It is 4 wide in the background. Somehow they're all still facing the same way. 3 wide in the background, and that is Nagel off the circuit with that one. Unfortunately for him, the one to come out worst off in all of those battlings. Closing in though, is he going to go for the move? He's trying to move to the left. Neal wanted to stop him from going there, but he goes for it anyway. Bob Poplar up the inside of Matt Neal. There's contact. Poplar through. Poplar is leading the race. Matt Neal turned across, expecting as we go through. That's Neal ahead. Cook gets in behind. Cook gets to the inside. Neal turns into him, squishing Cook up the inside. And he stick a wheel in up towards the chicane to try and force Batchelor into some sort of mistake. I mean, he has stuck more than a wheel in. He stuck his whole car in. That could be a slowdown there, very possibly for Batchelor, but he takes the position. Cod looks to the inside. Matt Malone trying to get involved in this one. I do not see Batchelor slowing down, so I think he managed to get through that without a slowdown, and Batchelor moves across to the right. Is that to serve it? Yes, it is. Thomas Batchelor serves the slowdown, and Matt Malone flies past Cod as well. Knows he doesn't need to fight these D1 drivers. Is side by side behind. Neal Rocks looks up the inside of Thomas Batchelor. Can't do anything with it. In fact, it's going to give him a bad exit. And here comes Jurgen Nagel now. Up the inside, up towards the final turn. Nagel has got that position. Can he confirm it though? Because the outside line works well in these slower cars. Neal Rocks has got some good speed on that outside line and is going to run side by side. He does reclaim it. Nagel tucks it behind to the third to last lap. Will he make the move to the inside? He looks for it. Here goes Milan Vukovic. Past Bob Poplet. He makes a move. Poplet's going for the exit though. Poplet does have the speed. He doesn't go for the move. He tucks in behind. Is he trying to pressure Vukovic possibly into a mistake? The only time I've seen Vukovic make a mistake on his own was at Monza, but here comes Poplet up the inside. It will give him the outside line on the next turn, but he does have a nice overlap, and it will switch back in his favour. There's a battle for the lead between Poplet and Vukovic now. Onto the back straight. Poplet keeps it tight. He will have the inside line through the kink. There's a little bit of contact, more contact. As we head through the kink, Poplet giving Vukovic no room. But Vukovic will have the inside up to the chicane. They continue to give each other absolutely no room. Poplet backs out. He's going for the exit once more. He's got the speed. Vukovic goes defensive to the inside. He goes back to the outside. Poplet has a slowdown. D2 as well as D1 here. Through the chicane. Poplet leading Van der Herk. We are going to be going on to the white flag. Van der Herk! Is that a slowdown for him or is another issue? It looks like it's a slowdown for Van der Herk. Poplet is saved. Number one. Who's going to come out on top of this one? And that's a dive from Bachelor. Bachelor goes up the inside of Joshua Lloyd. It's for overall position, not class position. Almost contact. It's going to be the switch back. Lloyd doesn't get the exit. Bachelor does. Bachelor pushes to the wider line. Trying to get to the inside on the next turn. He could do it on the brakes here. He's got just his bumper ahead, but he does get to the inside. They're side by side through the cut across, and it will be the position for Thomas Bachelor. He makes that move. Joshua Lloyd now has Neil Rocks behind to the front of the field. Milan Vukovic wins feature race 2 here at the Nürburgring. This is the train of drivers. Is there going to be any change through the final chicane? They all go through single file, all wanting that additional place. None of them finding the speed to Hello and welcome to round number 10 of the iRacing Renault Clio League. We are here at Knockhill for the first time in our back-to-back races around this Scottish circuit. We are racing the shorter layout in reverse here today. Next week we'll be doing the full layout in the correct orientation, but this is the reverse layout here at Knockhill. This is hands down my favorite circuit in the world. It really is. It's no understatement. This is my favorite circuit in the entire world, and I can't wait to see the racing that we're going to have around here. You can just see already how much gravel is kicked up. This chicane downhill is insane, and I can't wait to see how it plays out in the races coming up. Of course, we've got 4 races coming your way today. 2 heat races, 2 feature races. But let's have a little look at what we have on offer for the remainder of the season. We are once again back here at Knockhill next week, and in 2 weeks' time we are at the finale. I can't believe we're already heading in to the final run of this league as we head to Oschersleben on October 25th for the 12th and final round. With 9 rounds completed, then 3 drop weeks have been applied. That has had a shift up towards the back end of the top 10 in the D1 field. So let's have a look at the standings. Vukovic continues to dominate out front, and this championship is surely his at this point. Stephen Hurd is in second position still, about 40 points clear of Harry Fox, who remains in third, and Luis Henriquez sits in fourth, now just 9 points off of Fox. Van der Herk did not start the first few rounds of this series, stepped in a little bit later, and because of the drop weeks now throwing away those races he has not attended, Van der Herk jumps from outside of the top 10 all the way to 5th position here, only 12 points behind Luis Henriquez, and therefore only 21 points behind a top 3 finish, which would be absolutely insane if Van der Herk is able to do that. Matt Malone moves up to 6th position in the league. He's only 2 points clear of Mark Codd, who moved up with him. Ian Lane falls down to 8th position as he drops to 164 points, 9 points behind Codd. John Cook drops down to 9th position here, 4 points further back. And it says Neil Rocks is in 3rd position. He's not. He's in 10th position. He's dropped a further 3 places back. He's 7 points behind Cook. So there still is a battle going on in the D1 field. It's just not for the top 2 spots anymore. Of course, in the D2 field, however, there is a fight going on in the top 2 spots. Neither Jared Swaim or Riley Downey raced at Nürburgring last time out. They both missed that week, which I think Downey was very grateful for. He was competing in an iRacing special event that day. Jared Swaim not attending the race either. That keeps the distance between them at 26 points. Edgar, 80 points back now. He has closed in that gap. It was over 100 before. Because he attended the Nürburgring race, he's been able to gain a few extra points over those ahead. I still don't think it's realistic that he'll be in a fight for the leading 2, but he isn't that far ahead of Anthony Hilton, only 21 points. Hilton not having the best second half of the season, though. Anders Hagland only 6 points behind Hilton, looking to get inside the top 4. Zach Gould remains in 6th position as well, 17 points down, and Jürgen Nagel, Zach Thibault, they've swapped positions. Nagel now up to 7th. He's 22 points behind Gould, only 2 points ahead of Peter McIntyre. Thibault dropping down to 17 points behind McIntyre. Matt Neal, some good races lately. He's holding on to 10th right now, trying to close that gap to those ahead, but he's got 30 points before he even gets past Zach Thibault. 3 rounds left to go. That means 9 races for each of these drivers as they race in 3 races at every circuit. Talking about the circuit here at Knockhill then, like I said, we're running the slightly shorter layout that doesn't have the hairpin at the end of the lap, or in this case, the beginning of the lap, because we are running this layout in reverse. One of the few circuits in the world that actually is safe and graded to be run in both directions, not just on the sim, but in the real world as well. It is graded to do that, which is absolutely insane. But yeah, we're currently towards the end of our practice session here. About 5 minutes left to go here at Knockhill. We've then got, as usual, 2 qualifying laps before we then get on to our heat races. If you are new around here and watching for the first time, Heat Race 1 is where all of our odd numbered qualifiers start. So if they qualify 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, so on, they will start in Heat Race 1. If they're an even number qualifier, 2nd, 4th, 6th and so on, they will start in Heat Race 2. Both these heat races, 10 minutes. The grids to Feature Race 1 determined by the results of the heat races. That Feature Race 1 will have everyone down on track for 15 minutes of intense racing action. The most points are on offer for finishing position in that one. Feature Race 2, longest race of the day. It is 20 minutes. It is an inverted grid, randomly picked from the top 15 all the way to the back of the field, depending on what number is picked before the start of the weekend. And right now, that is 19 drivers. It could be reversed in this one. That being said, the D2 Championship is going to be going Riley Downey's way at this one. Only 4 D2 drivers in this event at the moment. That's Riley Downey, Jürgen Nagel, Anders Hagland, and Peter McIntyre, which if we look back at the championship standings, Riley Downey is in second. Jürgen Nagel has gained up to 7th. Anders Hagland is in 5th. And Peter McIntyre in 8th. All of those drivers inside the top 10, all will be wanting to do something. Nagel and McIntyre, the only 2 next to each other that will truly be trying to fight for positions between each other here. Hagland will be trying to get past Hilton, possibly even Edgar here. And then Riley Downey would be looking to close up that 26-point deficit to championship leader Jared Swaim. So that will be interesting and probably going to happen for Downey, which could put them on very close to level pegging heading into Knockhill again next week. But as practice does continue around, let's have a look then at how this practice session looks at the moment. Now, all I'm going to say is Ralph Aero sits in 5th position. He is a D1 driver, as you can see in his label. Unfortunately, I am struggling to get it to show as a D1 driver due to his special characters in his name. No matter how hard I try, it looks like my system just does not like it, which is really frustrating. But hopefully I can get that fixed for next time. But just so we know, that Ralph is also a D1 driver, so would be in that red branded car. Only 4 D2 drivers, as you can see. It is going to be a pretty hot fight then to try and get the race wins between each of those D2 machines down the chicane. In fact, let's run on board. This is going to be our first onboard lap of the circuit here. As we ride on board with Ralph, the first onboard look of Knockhill backwards without the hairpin, avoiding the tyre wall there as we head up towards the braking zone of turn number 1. Double left-hander, of course. Definitely needs to ease off at that second point as well. Pushing it onto the grass, stick it to the right-hand side because we're coming up to that left-hander. The downhill is going to be extremely quick. A massive amount of 2 wheels from driver ahead and from Aero himself as we head now down the chicane. Super fast. Less than 50 seconds a lap time around here. Up towards now. Crash there from Matt Malone, but up now through the chicane uphill instead of downhill. A crash at pit lane as well. But across the line for Ralph Aero, and that was a 50.6. So not a fastest lap there, but a nice lap nonetheless, and a good one of showing us what this circuit is going to be like, because I think it is going to be an incredibly intense set of races, that's for sure. And it does look like we are only going to see 4 Division 2 drivers heading out for this one, which will make it very intense between Nagel and between McIntyre, who are going to be fighting out for championship position between the 2 of them. Downey looking like the fastest man in the D2s right now. That's what he's going to need, is wins in all of the races in his class. That will put him to the top of the championship in the D2 field, up the inside of, believe that is John Cook. It's getting to that point where oh, no, someone else. Brooke Buller has switched into the same livery as John Cook. They've been running different liveries all season long. And Clayton McBuller for the Formula Armour team has decided to first of all find an alternate racing line there, but has also decided to switch livery right at the end of the season. And for that, I am no longer happy with Clayton McBullough because he's now made it more difficult for me to recognise who is who out on that track. I've been doing a great job of learning liveries this season as drivers learning alternate lines through the chicane. This is Cedric Debrat. He's had a couple of interesting races so far this season. Memorably, the Monza race was instant filled for him. He'll be hoping for a less instant filled race here today, of course. I don't know if that's going to be possible. I think we are going to be seeing penalties for instant limits across all 4 races. I really do. Matt Malone, the slowest in all of our cars so far. 15 D1 cars, 4 D2, and Riley Downey being the only driver away from the rest of the field. So we are going to have practice come to a close, and we are going to prepare for 2 laps of qualifying action here at Knockhill to set the stage for the heat races. And we are going to have a look at newcomer James Lazick-Smith. When he gets started, if he does get started out of pit lane, that is. But James Lazick-Smith then racing for the first time in the Season 2 here. Today was the last time that any newcomers could step in. Ralph Aero are racing for the first time this season as well. Here comes James Lazick-Smith then. It's the man who is in the D1 field as well. Will be looking to place his car towards the front, or at least just place his car on a qualifying position. Weaving it down here. Let's see what Lazick-Smith is able to do in the number 5 machine. A lovely livery, easy to recognise as well for him. As we see him coming down the chicane. Now, of course, that I think is going to get a number of off tracks. So how hard do you push it in qualifying here? Looking over at the qualifying, there are a lot of off tracks on the outlap for a lot of drivers. So I'm just keeping an eye on that right now because there could be quite a few off tracks for drivers as they head on to their first lap. Let's have a look at James Lazick-Smith then as he heads around the Thruxton circuit. We're not running on board with him, we'll run on board next lap as he heads up now towards the left-hander. Sliding a little bit, pushing it over towards the grass, not kicking anything up though. Gravel all over the edge of the circuit, not on the racing surface. That surely is going to be an off-track for Lazick-Smith, however. Marcus Law goes fastest ahead of Luis Henriquez as Philip Vanderhert places in a lap time. Where is Vukovic? Vukovic comes onto a new lap. We are going to ride on board with him. He has gone fastest at the moment. Keeping an eye on off-tracks right now. A lot of drivers completing lap times, but not a lot of them are valid right now. That includes from Riley Downey. That's not what he is going to want here. He's going to be wanting to place himself ahead of the other D2 drivers, take advantage of Swain's absence here at Knockhill. Up towards the end of the lap. Milan Vukovic comes up the hill now, sticks it over the curbing, not on the sausage curbs though, makes that track nice and wide. Stephen Hurd has gone fastest. Will Vukovic go faster still as he comes across the line? No. Yes, he does. As Lazick-Smith placed himself into 3rd position there. Here's Philip Vanderhert, but I do believe now that everyone has completed their 2 laps of qualifying action here. This is McBullough actually. I think he might be on his 2nd lap. No, he's definitely backed out of it. Well, has he? He might not. He might just be going for a valid lap. Is that valid? The way that he took that chicane, he's still pushing it. Harry Fox, the only other driver not to have a lap time either. Downey goes 2nd in class here. Nagel has got a really good lap time on the board. 4/10 quicker than anyone else in D2. Up to the line comes Clayton McBuller. He crosses the line. Will it be a valid lap this time around? Yes, and it places him 11th. Here comes Harry Fox. He's the last man to come across the line. Can he get a valid lap time in this time? As he comes to the line, his fastest was 49.7, but was invalid. What was this lap time? It's another 49.7 by the looks of it, but another invalid lap. He's pushing again. Is it possible that he has only completed 1 lap so far? Is this his second lap? I'm not sure, but Harry Fox not without a lap time on the board at the moment. No, he has completed all of his laps. Harry Fox will not get a lap time on the board. Will start from the back of the field. 19th will place him into heat race 1, however. And looking at the numbers, Jürgen Nagel is going to be the only D2 driver in heat race 1. The other 3 will be in heat race 2. Jürgen Nagel will take the win in D2 in heat race 1, which means that Peter McIntyre needs to win heat race 2 if he wants to keep the points close to Jürgen Nagel. But Nagel is going to be the only D2 driver in heat 1. But that is qualifying over here at Knockhill. And that is going to place Vukovic on pole position once more. Stephen Hurd will start heat race 2 from the front. But we're going to wait until they get themselves down onto the grid for heat race 1 so we can just run through the starting grid for this one. Milan Vukovic is going to start from first ahead of James Lazic-Smith. Marcus Law is in third ahead of Henriquez. Jürgen Nagel, the only D2 driver in heat race 1. He's going to win heat race 1 in his division. Clayton McBuller is going to start from 6th ahead of Matty Cridland, Matt Malone, John Cook and Harry Fox at the back. The drivers then out and ready for this one as we prepare to start heat race number 1. The first race of the day. 4 races coming your way. 2 heat races, 2 feature races. And that combines to make 45 minutes. No, 55 minutes of racing action if I actually calculate correctly. Just waiting for the leading 2 drivers to come down onto the grid right now. It's Vukovic and Lazic-Smith will be starting from the front row. As it looks... Oh. Like we are prepared. Here we are. Issues on our side, but we are prepared here for heat race 1. And that's a jump start by the looks of it from Lazic-Smith. We're green, we are away. Is Lazic-Smith going to get away with that, or is he going to get a black flag? It looks like he's got away with it from the second position launch there. He will not get a black flag for that one. A slide there from Jürgen Nagel. He just needs to finish this race and get the points. It doesn't matter if he is last overall. He is going to win division number 2. Other drivers will be trying to work their way around him. Matt Malone almost off the circuit there. He's got cars up his inside. That's a really hard part to be on the outside. He loses 2 positions down to 9th overall. He's got John Cook behind him, looking to try and make up any positions here. 10 cars out on track here for the first race of the day. 13 laps are on their way to you. The first lap already over here around the Knockhill circuit, and it is Vukovic out front. It is Lazic-Smith just behind. Lazic-Smith in his first race of the season. He started the race in 2nd. second, and he is half a second away from Vukovic. Nagel doing a good job to hold on to a top 5 at the moment. Just behind is a battle between Marcus Law and Luis Enriquez. Nagel falls down the order, but it doesn't matter because he is still going to win the D2 field. Is he still racing? He is. So not enough to take him out of this race, but he isn't going to get any higher than 10th by the looks of it, but that is absolutely fine. He is still going to win his class with all the other 3 D2 drivers over in heat race number 2. This is Harry Fox. He's looking up the inside of Clayton McBuller for 6th position. Into turn number 1, 2 different racing lines. Number of cars onto the grass. Matty Quidland and Clayton McBuller onto the grass. That moves Harry Fox up the order. Clayton McBuller returns to the track down the order. Matty Quidland returns to the track behind Jürgen Nagel. So changes in the midfield there through turn number 1, easy to do as Cook and Malone side by side. Malone once again on the outside into the chicane, trying hard to not get cut checks. It may have been a cut check ahead of him onto the gravel. That was John Cook into the wall. A heavy hit there as we saw the smoke coming. It looked like it may have been a corner cut, an attempt to slow down that caught him out there up towards the first turn on the circuit. Matt Malone dives up the inside of Clayton McBuller. McBuller keeps it on the circuit this time. Malone up to 6th position. Change ahead as well as Fox goes past Lazic Smith. Lazic Smith has had some sort of issue. I'm trying to find it, but everything keeps on happening. I can't find what's happened to Lazic Smith. Here we go. As he heads through up towards the final turn. It looks like he's already made his way off the track at that point, so I'm not too sure what has happened further to him. As I'm scrolling back, it looks like, oh my word, can you stop scrolling? I want to see what's happened to Lazic Smith. And it's a turn 1, again turn 1, catching drivers out. Lazic Smith all the way off the circuit and into the tyre wall for him. That's not what he is going to want. Torma looking at the weather though, sorry, I was just looking at the weather making. Here's Matty Quinlan goes to the outside, and McBuller is going to turn to the inside. If he can keep it there, he can't. There is rain expected across the course of the weekend, but only a low chance of it. So we may get 4 dry races here. We may see the rain start to come down as the races continue on. Matt Malone has visited pit lane, and it looks like his race is done today. John Cook, he's 24 seconds behind Nagel. His race is ultimately done. Couple of close fights still going on. Lazic Smith just half a second ahead of Fox right now. Cridland just half a second behind McBuller. Of course, that is Nagel 2/10 behind Cridland, but that is not for points. It is just for overall position. Another deep braking moment for McBuller. Can't get those first 2 turns right. Through goes Matty Cridland. Clayton McBuller falls down, but here comes Jürgen Nagel to get involved. Nagel doesn't get to the inside, and a big slide from Nagel there. He's going to lose some time, but they are going to sort themselves out and calm down just a little bit in this one. We're halfway through heat race number 1. 6 laps down, expecting another about 7, I would say, actually, with the time. I think we'll just get on to a 13th lap right now. It's about a second between Lazic Smith and Fox right now, so that's opened up between them. Vukovic puts in a 49.081. That's Matt Malone coming out of pit lane. Has distracted McBuller, or has McBuller just done another wide turn? Nagel goes through, but that was Cridland on the grass. Matt Malone has returned back out onto the track then, wants to get some practice in around this circuit. It's not commonly used, this layout. Drivers not fully used to this direction on the circuit, of course. That could possibly be a slowdown for McBuller. Doesn't look like it was, actually. He looks like he's measured that to perfection as they go up the hill. McBuller has to get back past Nagel if he wants to make another overtaking opportunity past Matty Cridland. This is James Lazic Smith then, and that was Luis Enriquez onto the grass. apparently has just received a meatball flag. Whoa, that's obviously why he visited pit lane. I don't know why that's only just popped up for me, but that's obviously why he has gone down pit lane. A big lick with the wall. He's off track again, but he is returned to it once more. Clayton McBuller now right behind Jürgen Nagel. Wants to get past the D1 racer, sorry, the D2 racer, and get involved in the D1 fight. Of course, Nagel has no need to fight with these guys. He is going to win D2 no matter what, but he has every right to fight with these guys, and surely he will, because he wants a race out here. That's why he's come out today here at Knockhill, is to have a motorsport race. McBuller once again not getting turn one very well at all. That's certainly the corners that he needs to practice. Matt Malone all over the rear of this fight. What is he going to do? A huge moment of two wheels from McBuller. Malone not looking to go past. So he is just going to follow here. He is a lap down from these guys, so there is no need to get involved. Actually, I think he's 2 laps behind these guys now. So there is no need to get involved in a fight with the guys ahead. He's just there practicing this circuit at this point. Across the line they go. Let's have a look at what's happening up ahead, because Lazarus Smith now has closed into Luis Henriquez, and Harry Fox is not too far behind. Lazarus Smith knows that he can make this move. He is quick around this track. He is quick in this car. He moves to the outside of Luis Henriquez. It's not going to work out. He backs out early. Henriquez pushes hard. Could that have been a calculated move that could give Henriquez a slowdown here? It doesn't look like it is right now, but we'll see along the straight whether Henriquez slows down at all. He doesn't. But a really good opportunity from Lazarus Smith there. Really tried to make something of it. Matt Malone has been disqualified from the race. So Matt Malone is out of this one. He has been black flagged and sent to pit lane. I believe that is for incident limit. As he comes through, and that's on the outside again is Lazarus Smith. This time forced off the track, and through goes Harry Fox. That outside there, a difficult one to hold. Henriquez didn't do anything wrong. He just waited in the neutral below the corner, and that corner just pushed you out. Up the hill here. Lazarus Smith needs to get back past Fox for 4th if he wants to get onto the podium here. Marcus Floor looking comfortably in second as Vukovic out front. 2 more laps to go as Lazarus Smith dives up the inside of Harry Fox and gets that move done brilliantly, but he brakes on the exit. There's contact between the two of them. Bumper gone for Harry Fox. Lazarus Smith holds on to 4th. What happened there? It looked like Lazarus Smith hit the brakes to stay on the circuit. Harry Fox was at full throttle and they've just come together. It looks like Fox might be okay damage-wise, but that's checkered flag. We didn't get onto lap 13. We've only got 12 laps done, and Milan Vukovic wins ahead of Marcus Law. Luis Henriquez take 3rd. Who's going to take 4th? Across the line, it is Lazarus Smith ahead of Harry Fox. And Jürgen Nagel, completely unexpectedly, is going to win the D2 field. That is race over here for heat race number 1. Let's have a look at the results then. As it was Vukovic with the win ahead of Law and Henriquez. Lazarus Smith just came across the line ahead of Harry Fox. Matty Quidlan took home 6th ahead of McBuller. Nagel winning Division 2. John Cook a lap down, and Matt Malone disqualified from that one. Let's have a look at the grid for heat race number 2. Here is Stephen Hurd out at front alongside Cedric Gabrat, Ian Lane and Philip van der Herk. Neil Rocks in 5th, and Ralph, who is a D1 driver, in 6th place. 7th place is the D2 field. It's Riley Downey leading Anders Hagland, and Peter McIntyre. We are green already in the background. That was a very quick start, and it is Stephen Hurd leading the way up towards turn number 1. That's the quickest start we've ever had to heat race number 2, and that's about 4 or 5 cars onto the grass out of turn number 2 there as we head on to the back half of the lap already. They've settled themselves in single file, but another driver off, and that is Anders Hagland. Riley Downey leading the D2 field. That's what he's going to want to take full advantage of Joel Swain. Peter McIntyre, though, is going to want to do a little bit more than just finishing second here, because his competitor Nagel just won Division 2 in heat race number 1. He's going to want to try and win here in heat race number 2, but he's got Riley Downey ahead, who is leading that division right now. The two divisions not mixed in together here, separated into the front of the field and the back of the field. Sometimes it's nicer that way to see the fights go out, but Jabrat moves into the lead as Hurd runs onto the grass. Philip van der Herk under attack from Neil Rocks behind as well as Ian Lane in third. It's so easy to push these cars wide and off the circuit, over through the chicane, bumping around the circuit right now, as that is Jabrat off in the front, and Stephen Hurd is going to try and take full advantage of that out of the final turn, and now up towards turn number 1. A lot of cars going deep here, pushing it wide over the grass, either out of turn 1 or turn 2. What is going to happen this time, as it looks like they all stay on the circuit, but they are incredibly close. Out here from Van der Herk, Rocks, Arrow, all off there as Downey has gone off at turn 1. Anders Hagland leads D2 out of Peter McIntyre. Riley Downey down to P9. That is not what he needs. It's third in class. It's still a good amount of points where Joel Swain is not here today, but surely he'll want to win and take full advantage of anything that he can with Swain not being here. Up towards the timing line, these leaders still incredibly close as we go on to the 4th lap of asking. It looks like they are going to keep it on track this time. That goes all the way down to the back of the D1 field. The D2 field still open up a little bit, but this is the fight we're watching. It's the fight for the lead, and it includes, ultimately, I'd argue, the entire D1 field. Not a single one of them more than a second behind the driver ahead, but that is a big mistake from Stephen Hurd. He gets the gravel, he goes wide, Ian Lane moves through, and here comes Philip van der Herk. Van der Herk has moved into the top 10 into the championship for the second time this season, and this time he looks to hold it. He's 5th right now in the championship. He's got the inside of Neil Rocks. Neil Rocks on a wider line isn't going to work out for him. Who's going to get a good exit here? We're going to get rather similar. Neil Rocks getting a smashing lap last time around, and in fact it was a purple lap for him as Ian Lane slides it from second position. Stephen Hurd gets through up the inside, and now Philip van der Herk side by side gets up inside of Ian Lane. Ian Lane is black flagged. It's the limit for Ian Lane, and Philip van der Herk is off onto the gravel. The race is just constantly changing because Ian Lane here is going to visit pit lane with that black flag. There he goes. Philip van der Herk down to the back of the D1 field, but we'll move back into 5th here. Jabrat has got a dominant lead now, 2 seconds ahead of Stephen Hurd. Hurd a second ahead of Rocks. What was an incredibly close fight in the first 5 minutes of this race just changed dramatically on the last lap, which is kind of great for me. It's given me a bit of breathing room here, and I can have another sip of my drink because this has been absolutely crazy. And we've got 2 feature races coming your way, which are going to have 19 cars in. That's going to be absolutely insane. just what Peter McIntyre needs. He needs the win here to match Jürgen Nagel in heat race number 1. And he has a real opportunity to do that in the Formula Arma machine. He sits in 7th overall, is 2nd in class, but he's going to push it wide. Turn 1 onto the grass, but he keeps it on turn 2. Hagland onto the grass in front of him. Now you saw Lane hit the instant limit. It is easy to reach here, especially if you're in a fight. How's that going to play out as, once again, McIntyre visits the grass? Through the chicane, it is 6/10 between them. Who is going to be able to run smoother? McIntyre's going to want this win to match Nagel. Hagland is going to want this win because he is close to moving into 3rd in the D2 championship. Up towards the timing line they go. 4 minutes on the clock right now. Jabrat only 1.7 seconds ahead of Hurd right now. Hurd could pull this gap back and get involved in a fight right on the last lap with Jabrat. But he needs to be consistent. Lane looks like he might be out of this one. Possibly. Looks like he crashed about a minute ago. Something happened about a minute ago. He is a lap behind Riley Downey. He's off again. And he is going to try to just practice this circuit ready for the feature races. Of course, feature race 2 is probably going to be a lot of people's friends here with the reverse grid. Place them at the front. But I do think that the feature race 2 here is going to be the most hectic feature race 2 we have seen all season long, because it is going to be incredibly tight. A lot of cars off the circuit in the opening few laps. I am certain about that. Let's move back to this fight for the D2 lead. Is Anders Hagland half a second ahead of Peter McIntyre right now. Neither of them wanting to reach the instant limit, but both of them wanting to push hard and take the win in this one for different reasons within the championship fights that they are in. It's down to just 0.3 of a second, 0.2 of a second, 1.5 tenths of a second, almost down to a tenth of a second as they head up the hill. But it does look like Hagland has got the faster exit overall. Who's going to get a better line here through the first 2 turns? Little bit of smoke coming from the 404 machine. He is going to push it a lot wider. Hagland did run on the glass, but McIntyre went completely on it there. Hurd has got the purple lap in this race so far. It's a 49.291. And he has closed the gap to the lead to just 1.3 seconds, but I don't think he is going to have enough time to fight Jabrat for the win here. Off the circuit goes the D2 leader, Anders Hagland. He gets it back on, but right behind now is Peter McIntyre. 2 different racing lines, and it looks like McIntyre is going to hold it on the outside. Hagland is going to tuck behind, surely up towards turn 1. No, he stays to the left, wanting to stay an active presence in the mirror, possibly trying to force McIntyre into a mistake. But Peter McIntyre leads the D2 field here at Knockhill. His championship rival, Jürgen Nagel, won D1. He needs to win D2. He's off the circuit though, and here comes Anders Hagland. Back at it, back through goes Anders Hagland for the lead in this championship fight. Well, in this race fight, sorry, for D2s. And it is now 0.7 of a second. Hurd goes even faster at 49.1. It's down to 0.8 of a second. This could be the last lap, but we could get one more. I think this is the last lap of the race here. Hurd has got to pull out a miracle if it is. He has pulled back a lot of time. 10 seconds on the clock. Will we see the checkered? I think we will. Jabrat, as Van der Herp makes a pass, past Neil Rocks behind. Jabrat will win ahead of Stephen Hurd. Van der Herp takes third. Who's going to take fourth? If it's going to be Rocks or Aero? They by side across the line, but Neil Rocks takes it. And in D2, Anders Hägglund will hold ahead of Peter McIntyre. Both of them happy with that result. As this race comes to a close and we prepare for feature race 1. Let's have a look at the results. It was Gibrat winning here and heat race 2 ahead of Stephen Hurd, who closed it down, but it just wasn't enough at his home race. Philip van der Hurt took 3rd ahead of Neil Rocks, and Ralph Aero took home 5th. Ian Lane, a lap down, took home 6th in class and 9th overall. And the podium for the D2 finishers were Anders Hägglund, Peter McIntyre and Riley Downey. Let's have a look at the grid then here for feature race number 1. It is Milan Vukovic who will start this one ahead of Cedric Gibrat. Marcus Law in 3rd ahead of Stephen Hurd, Luis Henriquez and Van der Herk. We then see Lasik Smith, Rocks, Fox and Aero followed by Quidlan. Anders Hägglund will start this one in 12th, McBuller in 13th and Peter McIntyre ahead of championship rival Jürgen Nagel. And Riley Downey in 16th at the back of the D2 drivers. The back of the field we beat John Cook, Ian Lane and Matt Malone. This race then, feature race 1, is going to be 15 minutes long. My laps have been off by 1 each time, so this could be an 18-lapped race, possibly a 19-lapped race. We shall have to see, however, how this one goes. Waiting for Vukovic, Gibrat and Lane to get onto the grid so that we can get the first feature race of the day underway here. 15 minutes of racing action. 10 minutes have been action-packed enough as it is. Vukovic on the field. We're just waiting for Gibrat, who will start this one from 2nd position. 15 minutes on the clock. And we are going to prepare ourselves around Knockhill. We will be back here next week running in the forward direction around the whole lap. But today we are in the reverse direction. We're on the shorter layout without the hairpin around my favourite track in the entire world. We're here at Knockhill. 15 minutes on the clock for feature race 1. It's green and we are away here at Knockhill as the drivers head up towards turn number 1. It's side by side at the front, but they settle themselves down. Are they going to run off the circuit? There's a sideways car. That's Stephen Hurd. He settles himself down as more cars running off in the background. But it looks like we are going to get ourselves through at the front without any major issues. Cars pushing themselves though so hard that they are visiting the grass right now. This is Van der Herk. He's ahead of Lasik Smith as they run incredibly close down the chicane, but they stay out of harm's way and they get through cleanly right now. Riley Downey, not what the D2 championship contender needs. He has got major damage on the back end. He will continue racing though. Will he visit pit lane? We have seen him race with major damage before, but you can see the rear end of that car is extremely wobbly. Vukovic having a slight internet moment there, it looked like. Hopefully it won't affect him as the race continues on here. Gibrat leads the rest of the field away in 2nd place right now ahead of Law and Henriquez. Lasik Smith will be wanting to recover after the poor heat race that sent him down the order. Jürgen Nagel leads Anders Hägglund. That's what Nagel needs. It's not what Peter McIntyre needs. Hägglund would like to win here in feature race 1. It offers the most points, of course, across the whole weekend for finishing position. As we go across the timing line, were in the last one. I think it might have been the cameras we were using. No, it's still incredibly loud, my word. As the drivers head through, it looks like a couple of fights going on. Matty Quinlan and Jean Cook here. They're back towards the bottom end of the D1 fights right now. This is Henriquez. He sits on the back end of Marcus Law. This is the battle for third overall and third in class. That was gravel being kicked up by Chibrat ahead, but he loses no time. Henriquez drops to half a second behind Law now. It certainly seems to be, if you are behind up that hill, you just don't get as much speed as you need. Riley Downey has towed to the pit lane. It looks like Riley Downey's race is done. And that is a shame for championship contender here at Knockhill. Henriquez looks to the inside of Marcus Law. Law gets the glass. Will try to keep it on ahead of Lassick Smith, but Lassick Smith takes full advantage of it, slides up the inside, takes the position, and is now behind Luis Henriquez, looking for third. Jabat 8/10 of a second behind Vukovic, certainly isn't dropping him. As we head up now towards the timing line once more, it is Luis Henriquez in third, James Lazick Smith in fourth position. Through the first turn they go. Just keeping it on track there was Luis Henriquez. Kicked up a little bit of grass. That's Marcus Law, the boss behind, but here comes Lazick Smith to the left-hand side, and he gets the position before the corners even arrive. James Lazick Smith up into third right now. He's 3 seconds behind the leading two drivers. Can he close in? Talk about closing in. Jabrat is down to half a second behind Vukovic. He seems to be running faster than the man out front right now, even though Vukovic has a lap time 5/1000ths of a second quicker than Jabrat. Will Jabrat go purple this time around? As they come across the line, it is down to 3/10 of a second now. Cedric Jabrat has got an absolutely fantastic car beneath him. Vukovic pushes wide onto the grass. Jabrat's going to get the speed on the exit. He keeps it on track right now, but he did not get a purple lap last lap around, so it's still fast lap for Vukovic right now. Fight behind as well. It looks like Henriquez tried to get past Lazick Smith once more, wasn't able to do that. Back to this lead fight. Not often we see anyone challenging Vukovic, and if we do, it's not often that we actually see an overtake completed on Milan Vukovic. Will it happen this time from Cedric Jabrat? He heads up towards the timing line. It's down to 2.5/10 of a second once more. Who is going to get the better run through turn 1 and 2 here? It looks like Jabrat gets a better run through turn 1. Lots of brake lights on Vukovic's car. He goes defensive to the left. Jabrat has to go to the right hand side. It's going to be the long way round. Vukovic holds it. Jabrat does not go to push. He goes for the switchback. Jabrat playing Vukovic like a fiddle, and he moves through up the inside, but they're both off the track. Surely that's a slowdown for Jabrat here, and possibly for Vukovic. The time behind to Lazick Smith has dropped, so I think that was a slowdown for both of them, but Cedric Jabrat leads the way here at Knockhill after an overtake on Milan Vukovic. James Lazick Smith, only 1.5 seconds behind, could try to get involved in this battle now. As the battles behind continue to rage on, we continue to watch this fight for the lead here in feature race 1. Vukovic looks towards the inside, can't do anything there. Who's going to get the better exit? Looks like they're pretty even. Vukovic trying to fill Jabrat's mirrors right now, and he certainly is. We're going to ride on board with Milan Vukovic as we head up towards the end of the lap and towards the 9th lap of asking. Jabrat leads the way, almost half a second ahead of Milan Vukovic as they come across the timing line once more. 8 minutes left on the clock. We're about halfway through here. This is a little bit of a kick out on the rear end from Jabrat. Who's going to get the better exit here? It's going to be Vukovic because Jabrat's onto the glass. That time is going to close down, but it's not going to close down enough for Vukovic here. Over the curbing, a lot more two-wheeling from Vukovic, but they remain close in here. This is the hardest I've seen Vukovic have to fight all season long. He had a fight earlier in the season with Van der Herk, of course, but it was nothing like this because he has actually been overtaken by Jabrat and is really trying to get his way back through. The gap between them, 0.3 of a second, it's closing ever so slightly. It maintained a little bit at the top of the hill, but it is coming down ever so slightly. Moves to the left to try and see if he can find a way through. He certainly can't, as they're now through turn number 2. Sergic Jabrat in the way. Vukovic, another just momentary internet issue. Nothing to be too concerned about because he is back once more and he is closer than ever. 0.2 of a second between them right now as we head up towards the chicane once more. Vukovic, can he find a way through in this fight? We've got 7 minutes remaining. It's going to be about 8 laps, I would say, as they come through. Up the hill once more. It's back to half a second. The gap just not there on Vukovic's side as Marcus Law goes deep towards the end of the lap, gives up the position to Alvaro. Aero on the rear end of Neil Rocks here for 7th position in class. Nagel has got Van der Herk between himself and Hagland. Nagel looks like he is going to take 2 victories out of this weekend and pull himself away from Peter McIntyre. And as Hagland's result is not going to be too bad either for him. And he's trying to get 3rd in the championship. Riley Downey not liking the fact that he's down pit lane, but he will still be getting some points from this weekend that will most likely place him in front of Joel Swain in the championship lead, with Swain not here today. This is the fight between Aero and Rocks right now. It's the closest fight out on track. McBuller's not too far behind Cridland, however. In fact, that one's going for an overtake into the chicane, and through goes McBuller past Cridland. Cook is out of this race alongside Downey. Cook got a black flag before he went out of the race, probably the reason he decided to abandon the feature race on this one. Back up towards the front, it is half a second still between Jabrat and Vukovic. Vukovic wanting to try his best to take another feature race win here. Majorly over the curb, and then just see how the car was bouncing, but this car can take it. It's down to 0.4 of a second, so it really can take it. Because it found him some time around the lap, but it just isn't there. 5 minutes left to go in this one. That's going to be about 6 more laps, so anything can happen right now. McIntyre moves past McBuller as we head out of the first 2 corners on the circuit. 0.4 of a second between Jabrat and Vukovic right now as they come through 2 slightly different racing lines. More curbing from Vukovic. It certainly looks like he has got a quicker run out of that corner though. Gravel all over the circuit at the top. Look how much Vukovic is pushing over that chicane there. Jabrat not pushing as hard, trying to avoid any off tracks or any slowdowns, that is for sure. As we head up towards the timing line once more, McBuller and McIntyre swapping positions. That's overall positions, not class positions, with McBuller being a Division 1 driver and McIntyre being a Division 2 driver. Jabrat continues to lead the way, half a second ahead of Vukovic. Neil Rocks, however, is now behind Stephen Hurd. It is only about 0.3 of a second between these two. So can Rocks do something to move up to 6th position here as Nagel goes past Matt Malone, McIntyre and Cridland swapping some positions, and both of them seem to have gone off the track there. Buller ahead of Cridland as well, and Malone and Nagel swapping back once more. Again, all of these not for class positions, which is why we are focusing on this fight, and it's just, it looks like cars going off rather than battles around, because the gaps are changing very, very quickly around. Marcus Law, however, right behind Ralph Aero. This could be an opportunity for Law to move into 8th position overall and in class here. 3 minutes left on the clock. Jabrat continues to lead the way, about 6 tenths clear of Vukovic. I think Jabrat may actually win this one unless he blows it away at the very end of this one. It could be Jabrat's win as we continue to run through on this 15th time of asking. Jürgen Nagel goes past Philip Van der Herk, and they swap back over once again. And Van der Herk will remain in 11th position overall in this one. As that's Rocks off the circuit. Rocks off the circuit. And that could invite the fight between Aero and Law into them. And that could become a fight for 7th position. As it looks like Rocks has a cover. He's about a second ahead of this fight. But here comes Marcus Law. Law to the inside of Aero. There's contact. Both of them keep it on the track. Aero switches back over and there's more contact. Law is sideways, but he holds the position ahead of Ralph Aero. Marcus Law moves up into 8th. Ralph Aero down to 9th position. There was contact in that fight. Back to this lead fight then. Jabrat and Vukovic. The gap is down to 3/10. Matty Quidland out of the race. He was black flag. No, he was disqualified. Matty Quidland, second disqualification of the weekend. Following Matt Malone's disqualification in Heat Race 1, Matty Quidland is disqualified from this one. The gap between Jabrat and Vukovic, the closest it has been in about 5 minutes. Will this be Vukovic's opportunity as we head up towards what I think is going to be the last lap of the race? It will be next lap, surely the last lap. As we get over the curbing, it's only 2.5 tenths between them. Jabrat leading Vukovic still. As we head up now towards the timing line, 48 seconds is a lap. This is 54. I think it's going to count it as white flag, but here comes Vukovic up the inside of Jabrat. Milan Vukovic takes the inside of Jabrat, and Jabrat had no response. Vukovic takes the lead on what I think will be the final lap of the race here at Knockhill. Will Jabrat be able to do anything at the end of the lap here? He's right behind, 0.2 of a second. Vukovic keeps it on track though. As they head up now the hill, are we going to see the checkered flag? Are we going to see the white flag? It's 10 seconds on the board. Lights flashing from Jabrat. We go on to the white flag lap. This is the last lap of the race. Vukovic leads the way ahead of Jabrat on the 19th lap. Jabrat half a second behind. He's not going to be close enough. Stephen Hurd, though, trying the overtake on the outside of Luis Enriquez. It won't go his way. As Milan Vukovic almost bested by the Frenchman behind. Pushing as hard as he can. Cedric Jabrat just isn't going to be able to make it to the front of the field. Milan Vukovic wins feature race 1 at Knockhill ahead of Cedric Jabrat. James Lazick Smith recovers after a poor heat race and will finish 3rd. Jürgen Nagel winning heat race 1, being the only Division 2 driver in it. He is still going to come home in feature race 1 with a win. Disqualifications on the last lap. Neil Rocks, Marcus Law disqualified on the last lap of this race. Nagel takes the win in D2. I think that's all the disqualifications. So 2 disqualifications from Neil Rocks and Marcus Law at the end there have changed our results that we will now have a look at the end of feature race 1. Let's have a look at our results here then from our results here from feature race 1. So Feature race 1, it was Milan Vukovic who won that one 7/10 of a second ahead of Jabrat, one of the closest finishers in feature race 1 this season. Lazarus Smith took home 3rd ahead of Harry Fox and Luis Henriquez. Stephen Hurd took home 6th in his home race ahead of Ralph Aero, Philip van der Herk and Matt Malone. Jürgen Nagel wins division number 2. Ian Lane took 11th overall. Anders Hagland and Peter McIntyre taking the final podium places in their divisions. Clayton McBullough finished in 14th at Neil Rocks and Marcus Law. Both of those drivers disqualified and placed a lap down at the end of that one. Matty Cridland, John Cook both out of the race at the end of the race, and Riley Downey out early doors for what could be the new D2 Championship leader. We will be back for feature race 2 in just a few moments' time. We'll be back to talk through your grid in about 2 minutes. So do not go anywhere because we've got one more race heading your way. We'll see you in just a second. Welcome back here to Knockhill as we prepare ourselves for the final race of the day. Feature race 2 coming your way in just a moment's time. Warm-up between feature race 1 and feature race 2 has just come to a close. So drivers will be on the grid for the feature race and we can have a look at what the grid order is going to be, including our reverse. As it looks like, I'm trying to find it, it is a full grid reverse for this one. It is in fact a full grid reverse. Vukovic at the very back, and we have rain in a full grid reverse here. We have rain. Riley Downey is going to start feature race 2 from the front ahead of John Cook. Matty Cridland from 3rd ahead of Marcus Law, Neil Rocks and McBullough. McIntyre will start from 7th ahead of Hagland, Lane, Nagel. Matt Malone from 11th ahead of van den Herk. Ralph Aero will start from 13th ahead of Stephen Hurd. Luis Henriquez from 15th ahead of Fox, Lazarus Smith and Jabrat. And race winner from feature 1, Vukovic, will start at the back of the field for this full grid reverse in the rain. A full grid reverse in the rain. This is going to be mental here around Knockhill for the final time of asking. Drivers preparing themselves for this one. 20 minutes on the clock in a wet Knockhill for the first time today. We are green and away around Knockhill for feature race 2. 20 minutes of wet action in a fully inverted grid. Drivers head to turn 1. We already have the 404 into the wall. Peter McIntyre around at turn 1. Drivers keeping it better on the circuit this time than they did in the dry races. But around went Peter McIntyre and down the order already at turn number 1. More cars off in the background, including, it looked like, van den Herk. I possibly know it wasn't. It was Ralph Aero. Huge contact between Aero and Henriquez there. That looked like something going on between the two of them. What on earth was that? That is not what you want to see, but definitely some poor racecraft from both of Henriquez and Aero on their return to the track there. No matter what happened at the start of that one, you cannot call that racecraft there anything but bad. Right, here's Ian Lane. He is behind. Philip van der Herkie runs slightly wide into the water, and we go for some opportunities here at the front. Look how many risk telemetry drivers we have at the front of this one, chasing down Riley Downey at the very front of this one. But the three risk telemetry drivers trying their hardest to keep it on the track. Here comes Matty Quinlan up the inside of Riley Downey. He takes it, but he's off the track, and around goes Jurgen Nagel behind. Somehow it looks like Matty Quinlan holds the lead. Riley Downey's in second still. What the heck just happened there as they all come through? Up the hill now, contact between Downey and Law. They go over the top of the hill. It's an inverted grid. It is a wet race for the first time today. And my word, is it already causing absolute havoc and mayhem. It's turn number one. Here comes Neil Rocks up the inside of Riley Downey. Riley Downey does not need to lead the overall race, just the blue cars that he needs to beat. Anders Hagman further down the order. Riley Downey off the track there, but he's back on now, and it looks like he's going to lose position to Ian Lane as well. He certainly is. That's Milan Vukovic. Vukovic has come from 19th position. It's lap 3 in this race, and Vukovic is almost into the top 5 already. As more cars off at the chicane. They're just disappearing over the hill and reappearing at the bottom of it. As it looks like so many cars, they just look like they are racing around an ice rink at this point. That chicane is taking so many cars with them, and we could see in this 24-lap race a lot of black flags as drivers reach the incident limit. Right, we head up towards turn number one. This is Harry Fox on the inside of Stephen Hurd. Hurd has to drop behind down to 10th in class. The only driver ahead of him, not in his class, is Riley Downey, who has fallen to 6th in this race. But he just needs to keep it ahead of the other D2 drivers. As Vukovic ahead, Vukovic is up into top 5, Downey slides! Matt Malone looks to the inside, not going to do anything with it. There is huge slide from Vukovic ahead. Riley sliding down the hill. And he's off onto the grass. He gets it back on before the gravel. He's got Ian Lane up his inside. He's got Cedric DeBrat and Harry Fox just behind him as well. As it looks like Fox gets past DeBrat, holds on to 9th overall. There is Stephen Hurd trying to get involved as well, just behind. We've got Anders Hagland in that train behind as well. He's going to want to try and take this win away from Riley Downey in this fight right now. Purple lap for Milan Vukovic. The man in 5th, started 19th, but it was beaten by Luis Henriquez, who's down in 13th overall in these absolutely horrible conditions. It looks like James Lazark Smith has made a mistake and gone down as Neil Rocks is off. Neil Rocks is off, having to recover back onto the circuit. Contact with Anders Hagland as he comes back onto the circuit in the worst location possible. Anders Hagland loses positions to the D1 drivers and now has even more to get past to try and beat Riley Downey. That played out in Downey's favour for sure. Downey now back at the attack on Ian Lane up towards turn 1. Here comes Harry Fox. Lane seems to have got a slow run on that exit. Could be dealing with a slowdown as we head through. Stephen Hurd gets up past Jabrat in the background as well. And my word, this is not calming down. 6 minutes into this race right now. It is Matty Quinlan leading the way ahead of Milan Vukovic, who has moved into 2nd place already. In fact, is looking to take the win here. Already in this race, he's looking for the lead. in this 20-minute race. Less than halfway through, the man who started at the back in this inverted field is looking to take the lead. Over the top of the hill, can Vukovic get the speed on the exit? He has more than enough speed to look to the inside of Matty Quidland up towards the first turn. They're side by side, and just like he took the lead in feature 1, he takes the lead here in feature race 2. Puddles on the exit though, but he gets through cleanly. There's a fastest lap of 57.426, which is about 10 seconds slower than a dry time, but still incredibly quick in this absolutely flooded Knockhill circuit. Ian Lane holds the position out of Downey as Stephen Hurd goes around on his own. And that is also off the track. Neil Rocks, I think. It is Neil Rocks off the track as well. Again, same place he went off before. Anders Hagland just up ahead. Fortunately, no contact this time between the two of them. But Jürgen Nagel is now second in the D2 class as they keep on coming around. Matt Malone has gone past Marcus Law because Law is off and around somewhere, but out on that final turn into the wall. He could be out of this one. So that means Matt Malone now onto the podium. 2.5 seconds behind Matty Quidland, and Marcus Law is out of this race. Clayton McBuller has been disqualified. Clayton McBuller has been disqualified from this one. It's not often we see disqualifications as the races occur, but that's a third one this season, and all of them have happened during the race. And we've had 2 post-race disqualifications for the first time this season as well. 5 disqualifications in this season that have come from the iRacing service itself, and all 5 of them have been at the same race weekend. This is Neil. This is Harry Fox. Harry Fox is ahead of Riley Downey. He's 5th overall. Riley Downey 6th overall. And at the moment, the positions you just don't know who's going to go for what right now. Downey up the inside of Fox. Vukovic at 57.2 is pulling away out at the lead. Fox and Downey side by side. Who's going to get the better exit? The puddles are on Fox's side. Downey, if he can just keep it on the left-hand side there, he could take it. He's not going to. In fact, he backs out of it and lets Philip van der Herk through as well. Van der Herk actually fighting Fox for position, so that might have been... No, and off goes Fox on the exit. A wobble. He gets it back on. He doesn't lose too much time, but he loses the position overall to Downey and Herk. Only a class position to Herk, though, as Downey once again returns to 6th position. Is he just keeping it on the track right now? Lazarus Smith trying to recover, as that was off the track was Anders Hagland. Anders Hagland looking to try and take 3rd in the championship off the track. Could invite Peter McIntyre into this one to try and take McIntyre to 3rd. McIntyre wanting to get all the points he can with Jürgen Nagel in this race. The two of them fighting for championship position between the two of them. This is Lazarus Smith on the rear end of Neil Rocks here. There's about 2 tenths of a second between them. Lazarus Smith is the fastest man out there, 56.7. Incredibly fast in these wet conditions. He's on the right-hand side here of Neil Rocks. Are they going to be able to make it side by side and clean through? Yes, they are, somehow. And Lazarus Smith moves ahead of Neil Rocks and into 11th overall. It's 9th in class. A slide behind from Neil Rocks, and Neil Rocks is disqualified. A 4th in-race disqualification here at Buxton. These instant limits at this race, inverted grid in the rain, is absolute carnage. This is Van den Herk. He sits in 5th. He's chasing down Ian Lane right now. He's got Riley Downey behind him, about a second down. Riley Downey now just needs to keep it clean. He's got about 10 seconds between him and his closest rival, Jürgen Nagel. So he just keeps it clean, keeps it on the track here. Riley Downey can take the victory here. The feature race 2 and a slide for Ian Lane. A slide for Riley Downey. They're both facing the right way, but Riley Downey's off. Can he keep it out of the wall? Yes, Downey keeps it out of the wall. He concedes the position to Luis Enriquez. Here comes Cedric Bat. Is he going to concede that position? No. He remains in 8th, but that gap now behind has dropped to about 6 seconds. Massively off the circuit there. Ian Lane behind Vandenherk now. Has got Fox just behind as well. That was a big slide over the hill. Vandenherk avoiding it, getting past. And moving up into 4th, on the hunt now to try and catch Matt Malone. Malone has moved up the championship order a fair bit last time out at Nürburgring, looking to do the same here with this reverse grid result. His heat result obviously not great, finishing stoned at last and about 4 laps out of it. But here comes Harry Fox to look up the inside of Ian Lane. They're side by side and they go through cleanly. Ian Lane backs out of that one, does not want to fight. Riley Downey gets back past Luis Enriquez, who is sliding around. That's Cedric Brat as well, just behind you, back wanting to try and fight the Luis Enriquez if he is able to. Right now he is not able to. Ian Lane, will he be trying to do anything to cover on Harry Fox, do we think? There very possibly could be an opportunity. Riley Downey, what does he do if Enriquez and Jabrat get to the back of him? Is he going to decide to slow down and let them through like he did with Vandenherk earlier? Is he going to just try and stay ahead of them? Obviously, staying ahead of them is not going to affect his point scores in any way in this race. He just needs to win his class, which he is doing right now. Jürgen Nagel down at 12th. Here's Nagel, Hagler, McIntyre. They're all in a row in 12th, 13th, 14th overall. But huge gaps between them right now. So only some mistakes will close those ones onto the water puddle. There was Jabrat. You can see him complaining a little bit on the exit. Now was Riley Downey. Sideways down the hill. That was a disqualification for Luis Enriquez. Luis Enriquez disqualified from this race. That is our 5th in-race disqualification, our 3rd one in feature race 2. You've only got to wonder how many more drivers are close on the incident limit here. How many more drivers could be disqualified here? Is Riley Downey close to that incident limit? You wonder, could he be disqualified from this one? Let's have a look at Matt Malone and Philip Vandenherk. They are together 3rd and 4th overall, 3rd and 4th on class, as they fight it out for the podium. James Lazarus-Smith goes even fast with a 56.6. That's a slide from Matt Malone, and he cuts the corner. He's going to get an off track for that. Right, he's got Vandenherk just behind here in this battle for 3rd. They are just behind Matty Quidland as well. You could argue this is, well, it certainly could be a fight for 2nd on our hands, as we're about 14 minutes through this one. 6 minutes left to go. As it looks like Luis Enriquez has been cleared from disqualification. I'm not sure if he will come back out on track or not. No, he has certainly out of this race. I'm not sure that he was cleared from disqualification, but he is out of this race and gone. Therefore, John Cook is the last driver still in this one at the moment. 19 cars started, 14 continue. 3 of those have Three of those have been disqualified, I think. Or have all of them been disqualified at this point? My word, I think all of them may have been disqualified at this point, as we've got a wobble from Matt Malone, but he runs through. I just want to have a look here at our filter moment, and I think all of them have actually been disqualified from this one. No, McBuller, Ross and Henriquez have been disqualified. Law and Hurd out for other reasons, very possibly. Incidents. Riley Downey going slowly, has just been caught up on mine, and he goes sideways again. He's got James Smith just behind, then Cedric back and Ralph Aero. There's still 6 seconds back to the cars further back from him. What is Downey going to choose to do here? He's braking early. He's letting James Lazarus-Smith up the inside. He's side by side here with Aero. He brakes again, lets Aero through. Is he going to let Jabrat go as well? I think this is a smarter call to make. Don't fight it out. He knows he's not fighting these drivers for championship position, and you know that he's thinking about championship position, because he was really worried that when he was going to miss the Nürburgring race that he was going to fall further down in the championship. Fortunately, Swain also didn't attend that race, but he is thinking about the championship. He certainly is, which means that he is giving these positions up because he knows he's not fighting them. level though, down to 5 seconds now though. So as he continues to slow down and let these drivers through, it is harming his gap between himself and Nagel. And he has gone around a couple of times, and if he does that again, he could throw himself out of the lead of this race. But currently, Grant not going for the overtake. Back up then towards this fight going on for third position. Where did Vandenherk go? Vandenherk has dropped down to fourth. Vandenherk's out, has had some sort of issue in this fight, and he is out. He received a meatball flag. As we watch this fight for third, we're then going to jump on to watch what happened to Vandenherk as Matt Malone holds on to third position. Oh, there he is, but what has happened here? Is it contact with Malone? No, he's tried to make the overtake on Malone, and he can't quite get it turned in. And a meatball flag for that throws Vandenherk out of the race, as you can see, as Ian Lane has gone off the track, but he recovers, but he is now down to 7th position. Lazarus Smith up to 5th, Aero up to 6th. Malone has held on to Harry Fox, but Matty Quinlan's gone off because Matt Malone has moved into 2nd, Harry Fox into 3rd. So Matty Cridland has gone off from 2nd position. No, this has happened before then, as it looks like it's happened here. Here we go. What has happened to Matty Cridland as Matt Malone's just gone off as well. Matty Cridland's gone off the circuit. There he is. And Matt Malone has had some sort of issue in the same place. Vandenherk went off. He's gone around. He slides it. We've seen a number of cars go up there. He's into the wall as well. He's recovered to 4th position, however. So he hasn't dropped too far back, but he is now off of the podium. He was up in 2nd. Vukovic is 17 seconds out in the lead. That is absolutely insane right now. Ralph Aero going for the position on James Lazarus Smith. They're side by side, up towards turn number 1. Aero on the outside, Lazarus Smith on the inside. These are two drivers who are racing in the league for the first time this season. Aero goes wide, now going to go for the exit as Lazarus Smith holds on to 5th position. Aero is on a really slow exit, and here comes Ian Lane. Ian Lane moves up into 6th position. They're still side by side though. Can he confirm it? Oh, he's going to have to give Aero space on the outside. Aero's going to be on the path. There's a lot of puddles though. Ian Lane on the preferred line down the chicane. Aero not backing out though, but he has to in the end. Ian Lane holding on to 6th ahead of Ralph Aero, down to 7th position right now as Cedric Gebrat still chases behind Riley Downey. He's at the back of that fight. This is where Jürgen Nagel is though, so there still is about a 6.5 second gap between Nagel and Downey. This is the fight for third though. Matt Malone has pulled himself back up to Matty Cridland. He wants a podium result here. Matt Malone is inside the top 10 in the championship and has moved up a number of positions in the last 2 races. He has been taking his consistency with him up the order. He is going to want to get past Matty Cridland, and the end of this one is surely going to be white flag. No, actually it's not Red Milan Vukovic. I don't think it will be white flag, because here is... No, it will be. This is Milan Vukovic. This will be Vukovic's last lap. Even though it's not coming up as white flag, I believe it will be white flag for this driver here. Matt Malone right behind Matty Cridland though, up towards turn number 1. He has to stick behind at the moment, but he has closed in right to him as Vukovic comes through. He is going to take the win here in feature race 2. Milan Vukovic, a dominant run in the wet. Through the puddle, Milan Vukovic wins here at Knockhill. We'll be back here next week, and he'll be loving that because he's won all 3 races he's competed in today. This is the fight for third. Matt Malone has made his way past Matty Cridland, and Matt Malone will take the podium position. This is how it happened. As we were watching Vukovic cross the line, Matt Malone got a great exit out of the first 2 turns, got to the left-hand side and got the position before the corner. A little bit of a slide, but he got it. And Matt Malone up to third. Anders Hagland disqualified on the last lap of the race. So Anders Hagland, who did take third in class, has been disqualified at the end of that one. Peter McIntyre was already a lap down, I think, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out. Will it change Hagland's position with that disqualification? We're going to have to find out. But that is the end of that one here at Knockhill for the first of back-to-back runnings at this circuit. Let's have a look at how that one ended up from feature race 2, a full reverse grid. As just trying to get this up, it was a full reverse grid in the wet. Absolutely incredible, as you can expect. But from the back of the field, Milan Vukovic won that one. 22 seconds clear of Harry Fox. That's what's incredibly impressive. Not only did Vukovic come from the back of the field, he also won by a staggering 22 seconds. Matt Malone took home the podium ahead of Matty Cridland on the last lap there. James Lazick-Smith took home the final top 5, just 0.2 of a second clear of Ian Lane. Ralph Aero took home 7th ahead of Cedric Gebrat. And it was Riley Downey who wins Division 2 ahead of Jürgen Nagel. Even with his disqualification, because McIntyre was a lap down, Anders Hagland remains in 3rd place in class and did not actually change position with his disqualification. Peter McIntyre took home 4th and last in the D2 class. Sean Cook took home 13th, and Philip van der Herk, after his accident, finished in 14th. Out of the race was Luis Henriquez, disqualified. Neil Rocks, disqualified. Stephen Hurd, Marcus Law, and Clayton McBuller, disqualified. What an incredible race that was. What an incredible weekend that has been. For the first time we have seen in-race disqualifications, and we saw a record number of them. Absolutely mental, but what a fantastic race that was. We will be back here again next week. We are back at Knockhill on October 18th for the penultimate round of the season. So be sure to join us once again for that one. In order to find out all about this league, head over to beehivebuildbroadcasting.com/Renault Clio, and you can find out the championship standings. You can check out the recent races and all of the extended highlights. The extended highlights shown at the beginning of this one for the Nürburgring round were incredibly difficult to edit, because I had to edit down 35 minutes of amazing racing into just a 10-minute video. It was so hard. Please go over to the YouTube and check out the extended highlights for Nürburgring. The extended highlights today, I think, are going to be just as challenging. So be sure to subscribe to the Beehive Build Broadcasting YouTube channel as well, so you can catch all of the previous races and all of the extended highlights. So until next week and round number 11 of 12, I hope you have a fantastic time, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.